All right, Jeff. Oh man, we just went from like one meeting to the next meeting, so just kind of like that, but it's all good. So people are starting to get in the waiting rooms here. I'm excited for this. Oh, you're muted, or maybe you're not anymore. Let's just see. Oh, can't hear you. Maybe it's just me. Let me just see. But I wasn't another one, so hopefully. Maybe we might walk around this. No luck? Oh, got some feedback. Heard some feedback there. No, not out.
Anything?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay. Let's try it again though.
Okay, something. All right. It's standing too much today. I like my standing desk, but I've been doing a little bit too much of it. Move around.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
See your dog. Beautiful.
Get out of here.
Okay,
go. Jeez, dude. I want to look at a dog right now.
That's all good. Are you able to crank it up at all a little bit? The audio is kind of quiet. See if you can
so weird. Okay.
Crank it. I just don't want people to miss out on your amazing voice.
How about that?
There you go. Oh yeah, no, you're way louder now.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, something was going on with my headphones then. That's weird.
Okay. All right, cool. So we'll I'll admit people and away we go. Unless there's anything you want to chat about ahead of time, good to go.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, you just kind of lead and I follow. So
100%. All right, ready to roll. Okay, here we go.
Nice.
All right, good to see everybody joining. I know we got a few more people coming in here as well, so this is awesome. So I know you're all here today to see Jeff Moore and his, like, honestly, the guy is a wizard when it comes to Zapier and making connections to all of the other applications that you're using. Good to see you, Leon. See you driving there and still making it. That's awesome. So just quick premise, just so we kick this off. Jeff, the reason that he's on this webinar today is that for most of you, you're always looking to do something with your leads, right? It may be maybe, for instance, you have leads that have come in and they don't have a phone number, or maybe they've come in and they have their address only. You're sort of like, how do I turn that into a postcard? And what if somebody does add an address or an email address? Or maybe you'd love to learn a little bit more how you can automate your CMA process, right? There's so many different things that you're probably looking to do with your leads, and you're definitely in the right place today. Jeff has made that so much easier for a number of different people. And so I'm going to let him kind of take it away, but basically what you're going to see is sort of how he does it. And for many of you, it's going to be a bit overwhelming, but follow along because he actually can do it for you as well. So you're going to learn a lot on the webinar as it is, but if some of it's unfamiliar, don't panic. Jeff can handle it for you, and that's what he's going to cover at the end. But he can literally do things that are just unbelievably incredible. So as we go through this too, if you have a question, please use the chat on the right-hand side. And we'll try to answer them as we go through. We'll definitely have a big Q&A section at the end. Feel free to raise your hand if there's something in the moment. I will try to answer it, or Jeff will try to answer as we're going through, but just try to use the chat for now, kind of on the right-hand side, rather than muting yourself. Unless it's urgent, then you can just kind of jump in. But yeah. All right, Jeff, I mean, other than that, take it away. And we're all here just to learn and be amazed.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the intro. Did we get it shared out to Facebook? Because I know a couple of people had some issues getting into the webinar.
Oh, I wish Marcus was on the call. How do we...
All good.
Let me try. I'm going to go live on Facebook. We'll see what happens here. Give me 1 second. Let me just
all good. No worries. Hope everybody's doing good. Doing well.
Okay. Maybe just start, Jeff, and I'm going to see if I can share it out to Facebook because I'm in the process of doing it now.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, cool. So I've been spending the last 3 or 4 months now developing, because I own a real estate team here in Denver. Some of you guys are from, I've seen a couple of you guys that are from here, and I have a team down south in Littleton, And so I started a lot of these systems because of my team. And what I wanted to do was I was having such great success with StreetText leads that I wanted to get them automatic CMA and get them into HomeBot without me having to be held hostage to my computer, right? And so I was like, man, I know this is possible. So I spent the last number of months developing that. And so what we've done is incorporated 3 to 4 other systems for your leads, right? And it's all depending on what you want and what you want to do. So you can have a StreetText seller lead now that will automatically go into HomeBot. Okay. They'll automatically go into Cloud CMA, right? And then we also have one that's automatically going to do a reverse lookup for those leads that are like the address only or those email only type of leads, right? And then we've incorporated some other things as well on top of that. But those are the 3 things that I want to focus on today: is getting, you guys acquainted with HomeBot, Cloud CMA, and the reverse lookup system. Okay. And the beautiful part there too is inside your CRM, we have set up links so that right there in your contact record, you're gonna have access to your HomeBot account. You're gonna have access to that client link, to that report link, and the CMA. Okay, so that way you can scale your seller leads, always get them a CMA, and then basically what you're gonna do is just pluck from the top the ones that respond to your communication and that actually like your CMAs, right? So that's the beautiful thing. I think a lot of us have been waiting for that. So out of the gate, though, I'm going to share my screen here in a second. Do you guys have anything in particular you guys want to chat through? Anything you're most excited about that I can make sure that I tackle? Questions? Anything right out of the gate?
Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself and put it in the chat.
Sweet. Nada. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So
I could see people's mouths moving, but I wasn't sure because you're muted. You got to remind yourself. I got to remind you you're muted. So if you were saying something, you may have to unmute for a second.
Okay, cool. No worries. Okay, so I'm going to start with my CRM, which is Follow Up Boss. Okay, and inside of Follow Up Boss, I want to start with what this looks like. Okay, give me a second. And basically what you're going to see is when a new lead comes in, this was a lead that was a while ago. We were testing this a couple of times. We applied this tag called seller _ HomeBot. Okay. And this tag automatically brought the lead into HomeBot. Okay. And then the CMA tag automatically brings it into.
So Jeff, we're seeing your
see that screen, huh?
Yeah. We got the documentation. It's riveting.
Oh, you guys see the API docs, huh? Interesting. All right, hold on.
It's genius. It just shows how complicated it is.
How about this?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Wow, weird, man. Zoom's doing some funny things to me today. Interesting. All right. Well, so this is my Follow Up Boss account. Okay. And this was StreetText lead that we were experimenting with a while ago. And this is actually my partner's account. Pete Thorpe is a business partner of mine. And what you do is we've applied this seller _ HomeBot tag. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in this a little bit. Okay, and the seller HomeBot tag will automatically bring the lead into HomeBot, right? Now, when it's a brand new lead from StreetText, it will automatically, if you've already got this selected, it'll automatically go in there, okay? And then what you'll get is this report link, okay? And you'll get this client link all put into a custom field, okay? And so that way, when you want to click, if you want to view the client, you just click on the client link, and now it's going to go directly to the client so that you can see all their activity out of here, okay? The next piece of this is their report link. I'm going to show you how to use this for conversions in a second, but this is a short link that if you click, it's going to go to a report, okay? Now, this report is what they will see, right? The consumers and your sellers, okay? So this is the $10,000 tip. This is what's going to get you the conversions right there, okay? And so here's how you're going to use that. Is the beautiful part of most of your CRMs, they've got these custom fields that you can basically just copy right? There's the link. Go up to your text message and then paste your content right there in the text message. Okay, this person doesn't have a phone, so you can't text, but so you could paste that right there in your text. Okay. The other thing you could do, this is also like this, if that was a $10,000 tip, this is a $20,000 tip, is inside your action plans, right? A lot of you guys are running like simultaneously, a new lead comes in and then an action plan fires, right? Is you can put something called a merge field, right? So we went ahead and we put in here, let me get these guys in here, is that custom link, okay? So you can now, right out of the gate as a brand new lead, okay, is get them a HomeBot report link right there, okay? And that will allow them to see that. Now you have to delay that a couple of minutes because the HomeBot report link does take a little bit of time, okay? But then it's leveraged, it's automatic, right? And they're getting that instantly. With the email, and I'll let you jump in a second. With the email, it's the same thing, okay? And so you can embed that link right there. Now that's just the HomeBot case. You can also do it for Cloud CMA, okay? And the Cloud CMA link gives you a live link and a PDF link, which I'll go into a second, but I wanted to see what questions pop up about that HomeBot link, okay? Lots of applications there, right? And the idea is to use that as a conversation topic. You know, hey, this is Jeff of the Blue Sky Home Group. I know you're probably not quite ready to sell yet, but I got this report prep for you. And take a look. Let me know what you think. Happy to get you a better one if you want me to swing over, right? Conversational. And it's going to get you more engagements. It's going to get you way more looks at your brand and your stuff, right? So it's all about that HomeBot tag, right? And these links will fill in. Okay. Questions, thoughts about any of that?
Curtis is just asking if the HomeBot gets updated with the CMA value, or is it just whatever HomeBot thinks the value is?
Yeah, so I'm not at liberty of what HomeBot does, but you can tune the value, right? So if you want to adjust the client's value, you can. I could tell you if I look back at the start of, even a couple of years ago when I was really working seller leads, I would get absolutely every single person I know with an address into HomeBot. Everybody. The system is very valuable. And it is they send out a digest, like a monthly digest, and it looks kind of like this, but it gives them like your mortgage status, and then it gives them like values that if I were to pay off or refinance my loan, what would happen, right? And so you have these different things. If you just paid an extra $200 a month, right? These little value items that are keep people engaged, right? And how about a cool video for you to send? And maybe what you do in that action plan is say, hey, I set you up with the HomeBot report, and you have a video of your screen showing it what it does, and that way they are introduced to it, and that way when they get that email, they're reading it and they're in consuming it, right? So this is such a valuable product for that very reason. Okay, so
hey Jeff, can I just kind of chime in on that question a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure, man.
So I'm pretty familiar with HomeBot, and it's a great program. I've definitely gotten listings off of it. But so I guess my question more is like, HomeBot sometimes is accurate, but there can be times where it's kind of wildly off. And so like what I do is and everyone has a different process, but I actually have a delay where I actually don't add them to HomeBot until about a week after I've sent them the CMA. So it's like one more deliverable. Right. I'm not just bombarding them with like 5 things all at once. Yeah. But then I go in and I immediately, before it goes to them, I put in the value so it's at least lined up with what I think it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I do have the videos, like a screen share, like, hey, here's how it all works and all that kind of stuff. So that's all pre-built in there. I'm kind of curious more like, A, could there be a delay? And B, is there a way for it to automatically update with the CMA value instead of just whatever HomeBot is?
That's a really good question. And I can tell you that HomeBot backend is kind of difficult to work with. So there's more and more things that we're going to be working on. Like another way we're working on that is if somebody does engage with your email, I want to give you a note in your CRM on the contact record so that you have a live update of what's going on, right? And so what I would do for your delay is a couple different things. Is you can always click the client link, right? And then update the client on demand, right? So that you can always update their stuff really anytime, okay? You don't have to have it where it goes into HomeBot immediately upon entering your system, right? What you could do is, let's say this is the plan that you have running with your lead, right? Is you can apply a step and say, you know, shoot, 2 days, then add the tag HomeBot, right? And so that way on day 4, it's going into HomeBot, and by then, it's exactly what you're trying to accomplish, right? The other thing that you could do too, this is kind of a HomeBot secret, is if you go into your account, right, and you go to your digest settings, you've got this thing called a welcome email, and I usually recommend turning that off, right? Because they're going to get this rogue email from HomeBot that's like, wait, what is this? And if you haven't gotten your stuff to them first, it's going to look weird, right? You can't edit this. This may be where you want to put your video and where you want to put your good content in there, right? But I turn that off, and then that way your first email to them isn't going to be immediate anyways. Your first contact's going to be a text message with the report link, right? So you can definitely accomplish what you're trying to do there. You just got to be a little tactful with it, you know. But I like those use cases, and that's kind of what I was thinking when we were building this out, is being flexible with those use cases for sure. Okay. But the CMA, let me back up to the CMA piece now, right? This is why we include both. Is Cloud CMA for a lot of users is free in their MLS, right? So, and it's got such a great tap into the MLS that you have to go into your Cloud CMA settings and make sure that you're dialed in, right? You've got all your marketing pieces, that you've got, you know, the connections to the MLSs, your settings right, because then when you get somebody into Cloud CMA, then that way it's all adjusted to you, right? This live link is an instant look at the market. It's immediately fetching listings right now, right? So this is like a great link to have for your admin, for a listing coordinator, right? For you, if like you're going to re-meet with somebody in a week, well, if you really want to, you could just re-pull the live link and see what's going on in the market, right? So this is the live link, and I love that for that purpose right there. It's kind of a snapshot into the market right here in your account. The PDF link, this is what I send to the consumer. Okay. And you set up all these settings with your brand and the way it looks and the color scheme and all that stuff, right? But this is a downloadable PDF that not only can you go through on a computer, but you could copy and paste this link into a text message, into a email, the whole 9 yards, right? And so both, that one gets produced by the seller_CMA tag. Okay, that's what gets produced there.
So Jeff, I think what would be kind of helpful for people maybe too, is how does all of this get in here? You know, because then it's sort of, and go ahead, DJ. Yeah, if anybody that wants to ask questions, by all means, just ask. But I think that might be a question of like, how do we start to get this information into, say, Follow Up Boss or some other sort of CRM?
So the way it works is directly through APIs, right? Is when I started doing all this, we were working with Zapier, right? Everyone's pretty familiar with Zapier, and Zapier's got limitations. So we started to go, okay, if I'm going to work with a big group of people, I want to make sure that the lead always comes into the CRM. A lot of CRMs have issues with first name, last name. They have issues with no phone. They have issues with email, all the address formatting. And so I just put all that aside and I got all it formatted correctly so that it works into the CRM every time. Okay. And so we're working directly into the CRM with these integrations. Okay. And then that way, there's no risk of it being incorrect. And a lot of times with some of these CRMs, you've got like the social profiles. Well, if you use Zapier, some of these things won't function, right? Because you're just kind of plugging the lead in on the side. Using the API traditionally, like the CRMs want you to, it allows you to plug it in correctly. Okay, so so you have some choices, right? Is on the StreetText side, you can obviously do the integration directly through StreetText on their integration page and get it into your CRM, and then from here work the HomeBot Cloud CMA stuff. The alternative is to turn off the integration and go outside to do it this way and effectively do the same thing, right? But then it depends on how your CRM works with no names and first names and all that junk, right? So those are the ways you kind of get the data in there.
So does Cloud CMA make the entire CMA on its own, or does it need any inputs?
It's immediate. All they need is, and this is probably what I should have started with too, is you gotta have a good address and a good zip code. Okay, address is more important for Cloud CMA, like that's a requirement. But for HomeBot, zip code is the requirement. Like if you don't have a good zip code, HomeBot won't work.
But how accurate is their CMA though? Because if there's a finished basement or
you set the settings up. Okay, so however you want the listings to be pulled, right? And it's pulling a snapshot, and you got to remember, like, you know, this is now talking about a conversion cycle, that if you're too accurate, why would I talk to you as the agent? You gave me what I wanted. I don't need to chat with you anymore, right? You almost want to make it just broad and vague and go, hey, I know it's not accurate, but if you want me to get you a more accurate one, I'm available tomorrow at 4. Right? Like these are conversation topics. These are giving items of value before, you know, that's because that's what people want. They don't want to chat with you until they have some sort of item of value. This gives you that piece, right? But you can, to answer really, legitimately your question, you just got to go into your Cloud CMA and adjust what you want to send. Okay, it's going to give you a range and the whole idea that way.
So I use Top Producer. Is there, can this be used with Top Producer?
Top Producer's kind of low down the list in our CRMs right now because they're just not a widely used one, unfortunately. Now I could put that on our radar, and it's not been too hard to adopt new CRMs. Okay, and so yeah, we can absolutely do that. It's just not gonna be immediately, right? So
how about the Chime CRM?
Chime's like right on my back, on the doorstep. Like that could be next week. That's gonna be right next week. Same with Sierra, Firepoint, and then KV Core. KV Core, I have to get a hold of their guys again. They have to give me an account, not like a CRM account, but like a dev account, and then we're good. So those.
What about Brevity?
Brevity is, I haven't written down Brevity. I've got Brevity for my own team, so
yeah.
I'm very familiar with it. I could probably get that one on the horizon too.
Is Sync one as well?
Sync's a difficult one because of their API, right? If you're a Sync user, you probably know that. I tried, and I'm gonna still try. So talk to me about Sync because I could give you some different alternative solutions there.
Okay.
Lion's Desk, Wise Agent.
Yeah, Lion's Desk just got bought up, so who knows what's going to happen with their API stuff. But that one's kind of on the doorstep is with Firepoint and those guys too. That one's pretty easy to work with.
Keller Williams Command.
Command's kind of a pain to work with too. That one's kind of low down the priority right there with Top Producer. But
Exact Contact?
That's not on the horizon. I'm not familiar with that.
How about Wise Agent?
Wise Agent would be up there too. It's kind of in that Firepoint range. And that's why I asked the CRM question in my post today in Facebook, because really curious on where the priorities line up, right? And follow-up boss is immediate. Like you sign up today, follow-up boss is functional. You sign up with Chime on Tuesday, it's going to be functional. Sierra Tuesday, Wednesday, right? Firepoint's the same thing. Those are going to be immediately ready to go come next week.
So
Go ahead.
So what exactly does your solution do? It automatically sends the CMA to the lead. That's what it does. Pulls it.
It's producing and connecting all these dots, and then funnels things to your CRM, so that you can layer in there what you want to send and when you want to send it. Right? Like to what is it? Curtis's point. If you don't want to send the HomeBot link right away, you don't have to. But if you want all this wrapped up into one and send it all in one bunch, like we can with the action plans, then you could do that. We could set that up for you. It's no problem.
So Jeff, you're not using Zapier at all anymore? Because I remember when you went through some of it in the past, it would be, if you didn't have certain information, then you were going and getting it, updating the lead, and like you would kind of had a process, kind of like if statements or past. So you're not using that anymore?
No, I mean, we are and we aren't, right? Zapier's got probably 25% of the workload, and then another, bigger servers got the majority of it, because Zapier's slow, it's not reliable, and so we have to use something different. And when we're having such demand on these systems, you gotta be reliable. So yeah, but for the most part, it's through that different product. But what was I gonna say? Hopefully that's helpful for you guys, because the idea is to get you more value into the hands of these sellers automatically, so that you don't have to do the work of the CMA for them never to open it, right? Like you're going to do all that CMA work and they're never going to open the bloody thing. Might as well just have it automated and then go, oh, you got it? Sweet. Yeah, that was a bad CMA. You want to get together and get a new one? Like that's the kind of stuff that you have now. You're going to get more conversations that have more value to them than trying to mine for conversations.
So what's the best practice you've seen? Because I'm new to the system and I've seen like some people sending just a letter to the prospect saying, hey, your value is between 100 and 150,000. Yeah. And like you said, let's meet for a more accurate version. So is that something that's more effective, or sending like this kind of a CMA is like 40 pages? I just saw one on Cloud CMA.
Yeah, I mean, that's his settings for his Cloud CMA, right? You could dumb that down. You could get as much as you want. This is where we got to take this conversation and keep it tight, right? I mean, You could blow this thing up to, what if you do this, 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 and this? I could do a geo fence. I could run YouTube ads and retargeting ads and all this stuff. We're talking to make sure we're talking getting a CMA and getting a HomeBot automatically into a lead. And then the reverse lookup, right? That's what I was meant to say is, if the lead through that system, so a lead hits the API, if it has no phone, it will automatically go down the lookup system, okay? And this reverse lookup system, okay, is, I don't think Pete's got it on his account, but it's gonna be hashtag lookup, okay? And that hashtag lookup is automatically gonna go into a reverse lookup system, pull this person's address or email, and then provide any phone numbers or any emails that they have, and automatically update the contact record. Okay.
Jeff,
so that
can
way
you, sorry.
Don't have to. Go ahead.
Can you, for people that aren't so familiar with hashtags and follow-up boss, how that works?
Of course. Yeah. So, I mean, tags are pretty common in every CRM now, right? And tags give you the ability to, add something specific about that lead, right? Or that client. And so I use hashtag because it shows up at the top of the screen, right? And so that's why I say hashtag lookup is the trigger to get it into the lookup, right? Hashtag seller HomeBot gets it into HomeBot. And so these are just things to use. It's one trigger. Now, for those that want to use the StreetText lead system too, we can have it automatically go into HomeBot and automatically go into CMA, making the tags irrelevant. You don't need them.
How do you set up the actual process once you've actually created that hashtag? How do you set up the actual process that triggers an action?
What do you mean? How do I do the API stuff on the back end?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have 4 hours to kill?
I
There you
think
go.
what Michael, if I understand correctly, is like about the tag. How does it know what to do next? You know?
Yeah, I got you. So they're in these systems, and we got to be careful not to get too into the weeds, right? But in these systems, you've got something called a webhook, and webhooks are less listening devices, not device, but listening mechanism to listen for certain things, tag added, notes created, person added, all that stuff. And so we create a webhook for your account to listen to your tags. And when we go, oh, we have a new tag, is it HomeBot? Okay, then push it down the HomeBot path. Oh, it's not HomeBot, then don't do anything, close it, right? So we set up that system to listen for different tags and go, oh, it's a lookup tag. Okay, and you're a lookup client, go down the lookup path, right? Oh, it's a CMA. Do we have all the right stuff? Send it down the CMA, right? So that's what's taken me months and months and months to get good and accurate.
So these hashtags that you've described are already preset?
We install them if you sign up with us, we install all this stuff for you automatically. There's nothing for you to do.
I see. Got it.
And Jeff, will you also set up kind of like the playbooks per se, or the I don't know what Follow Up Boss calls it, but like the automation stack per se, or the action plan. Sorry.
Yeah. So what we install with the action plans is we set up 4 action plans for you. Okay. 2 for buyer StreetText, 2 for seller StreetText. Okay. And the first one, we just give you this framework for Osiris specialty new seller StreetText text. And this is just the intro text that's delayed, showing you that merge field. Okay. You can obviously adjust this, right? This is easy to put together yourself. We just thought we'd give it to you as a good, like, oh, I get it now kind of stuff, right? The other one that we give is the email. Okay. And again, this email is pretty easily drafted. It's not fancy, right? And you should and probably develop your own action plan into it. But I wanted to show everybody, here's the CMA link, right? So that's included for both the buy side and the sell side. And that way, if you just want to set it up and forget about it, you can, right? You could totally do that. But if you want to get granular and kind of tinker with it and get your own framework, you totally could too, right? And I got to add as well, there's things that you can also add, right? Like a mailer. We've got that system set up for the mailer. You got the system for, lots of other things that you could do. For this purpose, I just wanted to stay very focused on HomeBot Cloud CMA, right? With the idea of getting them a CMA all automatically. Okay. Is that helpful? And really the difference, this CMA is just an MLS CMA. And his settings, like this is Pete's account, his settings include all the pictures. Your settings may not be including all the pictures. They may not, all these different marketing pieces, you can completely customize, right? They've got lots of options to choose from, and you don't have to send a massive report. It could be nice and tight.
Do you have this feature for the existing StreetText CRM?
So I know StreetText, no, the answer to that question is no, because if you're using StreetText as a CRM, then I think just doing it within StreetText, you should do, right? This is really if you pull the lead out of StreetText and you're using a CRM, this gets it all connected under one roof, right? Like if you're looking for solutions to get seller leads, a CMA and a HomeBot and automations without you having to be held hostage to your computer, then these are great solutions, right? Like that's the whole goal is I want to scale seller leads, and then I want to pluck from the top the people who read the material, who've actually found it valuable. And it's that way I'm not not making calls to people who are never going to answer the phone or setting up or trying to, pound the pavement, right? I'd rather make it easier on myself. My time is valuable. And
So
that's what this allows you to do.
can I ask a question?
Of course.
So essentially, you've set it up where when the lead comes in from StreetText, are you automatically sending them over to Cloud CMA to put in their information and they're
They-
filling it out?
They don't put in that information into Cloud CMA.
Okay, we do.
Okay? Well, yeah, it's all automatic. It's all automatic.
So you're teaching us how to make it automatic from StreetText to their inquiry to Cloud CMA?
No, I mean, we're not teaching yet. If you sign up with the product with us, it just bolted on and it's all automatic for you at this moment.
Okay.
After the text lead comes in, then it would go and automatically do the CMA and send it out.
That's right.
Okay, so where's the link for your details on that product?
It is here. So Osiris, the website is OSIRS.
I'll post a link in the chat too, or copy it in the chat there.
Yep. And then / StreetText. Okay. And the solution's all right here. Okay. But that link will get you a deal. And you can kind of choose, right? Like when we were choosing out some of these products, we were trying to pick products that were affordable and a lot of times free, right? HomeBot's $25. If anybody's a YLocal user, you can't use YLocal's version of it. You have to have a full version. And then Cloud CMA, I found for like 25% of the users is part of your MLS and it's free. And outside of that, I think I spend $30 a month, 35 maybe, for Cloud CMA. And I mean, and we're sending these out on such a big clip now that it's totally worth it.
Hey, can we just post that link for them in the StreetText Insider group though? Because you're gonna have people that once you log out won't have the link.
Yeah, we'll totally do that. And I'll post a link to both those systems too, so that you guys can go check it out. But yeah, the whole idea here is you don't have to do the manual work, right? It's just done for you. And then you log in, oh, I got a StreetText lead and here are the links, and it's gotten the messaging for you. Okay.
So I'm sorry, I don't know if I missed it, but did you say how much you charge for the service?
So the service is going to be $49. Depending on,
sorry?
there's a couple different options for you. Okay. Is if you are going to do the lead inbound system with us too, okay, we're going to do the 10%, I think 10 or 15% off what this is, okay? And then if you're doing a HomeBot and Cloud CMA, those add-ons are going to be $40 each, okay? Because of the bulk that we have to take on for each of those systems, okay? You can have as number of users as you want. This is not per user. This is just total, okay? And so that's what gets it all set up and going for you. You do have to go buy that HomeBot account. You do have to go buy the Cloud CMA account on your own, and then you just provide us the Cloud CMA, your API key, and then we got to get into your StreetText to get the lead routing set up there for you. Okay.
So I've had a couple people message me just as well in regards to kind of how this was all set up. And so before, Jeff was using Zapier, and so there was an aspect where you could sort of you could look at kind of how he was doing it, you could track yourself, but most people would just end up kind of doing it this way. But obviously Jeff's moved away from that and has just made it a bit more robust. So it is obviously a paid for service if you want. If you're using a CRM, one of the ones he's listed, and you do want that information just in there, this is a tool that he can kind of bridge that gap for right now. So if you wanted to do this yourself, you technically could do it, but it would be quite complicated if you were going to use Zapier to do it kind of the way Jeff's done it.
Yeah, because I mean, and you absolutely could, right? I mean, that's kind of how I figured it out too. Zapier has closed off their beta for the, HomeBot has closed off the beta for Zapier, and they don't really give API access very often, and it's been like pulling teeth working with HomeBot. Now Cloud is a little easier, right? And you could do some stuff. They don't have an app in Zapier, so it's API stuff with Cloud CMA. But I'm happy to kind of help you, show you to you too, right? If you want to do that, just ping me, and I'm happy to, help you where I can, and so I definitely apologize if I can't operate in your CRM right now. I got to pick the time where it's best spent. So, but I'm happy to help if it's okay, if you want that. So,
I have a question.
Sure, of course.
When it says, so it will be the just to have the system $49, and then for the add-on, it says on the bottom, all add-on is $99 plus the 49, or is 99 altogether?
No, so the 99 is for the add-ons only. Okay.
Add-ons only. Okay.
Yep. And that's going to include anything else that we also add on. Okay.
Okay.
And
because
so,
I have AM cards.
Great. That's awesome. I mean, and they have got a great product, and they really do. And so we can automate that whole setup for you. Really can. And I think that's what's optimal. If you talk to, you guys tell me, if you guys are watching a lot of the StreetText, webinars, how are the conversions happening, right? You're probably doing a lot of mailers, and you're probably doing a lot of video. So if you kind of combine all this stuff into one good campaign, and you get a seller or two out of it, is that valuable enough for you to pull the trigger on some of this stuff? To me it is, but it's up to you, right? And I'm happy to help wherever I can.
So what is it exactly that you're getting then without the add-ons? What is it doing for the $49 a month?
So this system here is just the plugging in. It plugs in the lead directly into your CRM. Okay. For a lot of CRMs, it's difficult getting leads in because of first name, last name, no phone, bad email, bad address, right? We're plugging in all that stuff, the action plans, the custom fields, and then getting that all put together, right? Because that's sometimes for people, it's tough. And that's what that is. So it's hard to kind of put it into an all-encompassing one package, right? Because it's some are going to be here, some are going to be here. So that's kind of why I separated it out. But if you're already getting leads into your CRM, then you might just opt for where's my form? Then you might just opt for the HomeBot Cloud CMA system, right, on its own, and that way you don't have to worry about any of the other stuff, right? You still get the discount with StreetText, but you get just those two systems, right? So that's why it's
what I don't understand is, once it's set up, are you saying that if it doesn't go into the right place, you actually, or somebody on your team actually goes in and personally puts in the information, or otherwise, once it's set up, it's
automatic,
right.
Automatic, right?
Right.
So
the monthly fee is, because once it's set up, the monthly fee is just to keep it set up,
to keep it running. Yeah, to keep it running, right? Okay. Whenever the next person comes in, we get charged for all the server runs and all the things that we've got running in the back office, right? And so that's our residual cost to running the whole thing. And so yeah, that's why we have to charge a fee for all that stuff in that setup.
Hey Jeff, does the service include? In my notes here it said, automated to Cloud CMA and HomeBot, and then it said reverse lookup to, I guess, to verify the information. So does that help when you get partial leads?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the reverse lookup system is the most expensive piece of this whole thing. And it's because the systems that we're using for reverse lookup none of them are automated, by the way. Anybody wants to start a really smart business, go figure out how to do an automatic lookup system with an API. Because right now it is, it's not great, right? So I'm trying to find the pricing for that. So we've got pricing, it's not on here, I have to pull it up. You have 200 polls a month, 200, because it's expensive. It's I feel like it's 75 cents a lookup, something like that. And so with every lookup, we're spending quite a few, more money. And so that's going to be a separate product. It should have been on this page right here. Okay. So I'll make sure I get
membership cost.
Mojo has a automatic lookup system.
You've got to get the lead into Mojo though. And so that's going to be a little bit different. It's not like an API reverse lookup. It's a Mojo lookup, right? But I love the idea. I mean, trust me, I've looked and I'm looking. So, and if you're looking at system plan stuff, just set an appointment with me, right? Let's chat it through. Let's see if it makes sense. And again, if this is confusing, set an appointment. We'll chat it through, and I'll get you taken care of, right? Because there's so many different layers built into this that what's going to work for somebody here is just not going to work for somebody here, right? It's kind of customized for that, and the idea is to get stuff, into the seller's hands without you having to be held hostage. Cool.
So just for grins, I mean, the Mojo thing is skip tracing. So I was gonna say, Jeff, is if someone bought the basic package for $49, it's gonna turn around. That's based on taking the StreetText lead, uploading into HomeBot, and then triggering the action plan or whatever you have set for that. 4 of them, 2 buyer, 2 seller, and the reverse lookup is a separate thing from the $49 a month.
Yeah, this is the reverse lookup system right here. So for $50, you get 100 lookups. For $69, you get 200 lookups. And all it is, and what it is it updates the phone number, the emails, if it doesn't have that. Okay, all automatic. And I know for me, like, I may not opt for the reverse lookup system because they are expensive, and I'm just gonna hit them a different way. I'd rather go spend that, $30 or $40 and go buy another batch of 20 leads, and then go buy and reverse look up one person who's not going to answer the phone anyways.
Let me ask you this though, just for the grins. So for people that have been with StreetText for a couple minutes already, and let's say they've got a bunch of address onlys, if they sign up with this program and decided to do the reverse lookup, would that take all of their database that's address only current now, or only moving forward?
It's all on demand. So you control which 100 you want to look up. Okay. Now, one tip is if you've got a big list of people that are address onlys, you need to go to a system and you need to download that list and go to a system and append it outside of us, because that's too expensive for what we're doing. You could go get it much cheaper appending a giant list. Okay. And a lot of those systems out there, there's one that's a data append. Just look up data append, and some of those websites will pop up. Okay.
How would we choose? You said we can choose which ones. I mean, isn't it if an address only comes through, you guys are gonna do a reverse lookup on it automatically? Yeah. I mean, I don't have time to sit there and tell you which one to do. Like, wouldn't you guys do them automatically?
Yeah, but for his question, if you've got a big list in your database already.
I mean, moving forward. Yeah, I mean, moving forward. So if we get, a couple hundred leads a month, you're going to scrub them up until our limit, and then.
Yeah, and then it's up to you, right? Like, I mean, you can, that's where it gets layered, is all it is this the tag lookup. Right? So if you want to apply that tag in an action plan automatically, and like, look, if you're a follow-up boss users, and let's say I'm doing this with this lead source, I could say anything that's priced greater than 500,000, spend the money for the reverse lookup and use a different action plan, right? Anything below, don't. Right, so that's how you can layer that in to make sure you're not wasting that money.
Gotcha.
Right? This is what I would recommend for mailers too, right? We do some of this stuff for our system members, but again, like, these are tactics, right? And you gotta make a decision based on where you're gonna spend your time. How much tactics are you gonna place on your system, or else am I just gonna put a giant hose at it and see what sticks? I'm a combination of both. I like to put some tactics at it, but I'm not going to get out of control with it.
Right. And so just to be clear, so you're going to put those tags in, it's going to automatically send that link for HomeBot and for CMA or whatever you pick on the side. and then we have to go in and choose what we want to send to people, or is it automatically being, are they automatically being set up on it?
They're automatically being set up on it. And then
Okay.
you could choose if you want to automatically send it or you want to send it manually.
Gotcha.
Right? Yep. And there's all sorts of training out there to help you do that for sure.
Jeff, are you also connected to HomeBeat in Canada or just HomeBot?
Yeah, so that is one that I'm working on. A lot of people recommended that, and I really like that system. So that is up there in the priority, and I'll be working on that too. Okay. My next big phase with this is when somebody engages with the HomeBot report, right? That information comes back to you as a note tagging you. Okay. That way you know, hey, Leon jumped into HomeBot and checked it out. You should probably reach out to him. Right. So,
And when you started this, you said that you had already had a couple of tags that were running to follow-up boss. Are there other tags that we can put in to trigger an action based on the action plans if we're running follow-up boss, or are we just limited to the ones you currently have?
well, so you don't want to go too in depth with that, right? Because then it's kind of hard to manage. But we start basic, and I'm happy to develop more for you, right? So you've got a really phenomenal tool in here called automations, and you can really use that if you want to. So start small, start basic, learn it, and let's make sure it works right for you, and then you can expand and grow. But you just got to track your conversions. The whole goal of this is to get more sellers.
So we run buyer and seller ads through StreetText. Will you be able to figure out which ones are which?
Yeah, so the beautiful part about this system is if it's a buyer, have you ever looked at HomeBot's buyer side?
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people have, by the way. And so if it doesn't have an address, it automatically applies them to the buyer side. Okay. So the links will get populated the same way, but for the buyer side. Now you and I could chat and I could come out. I have a buyer side stuff coming out where a link is produced.
Right. We have Pilopo also. So you guys put the stars link in it, like you can automate that to happen.
So if they come in on a house, let's call it, they came in on StreetText for a buyer side on 123 and they looked at this property, right? Well, I'm going to go find that property on our website. Okay. And then I'm going to send them a link to our own website. Right. And the website is going to be, you know how in Ylopo, this is where it gets a little nerdy, but in Ylopo, you can set up your location, city, right? All your different things up here. Well, you could take this link and put it into a custom field and text it and email it to them the same way that you could do this here, right? So it's, hey, this is Jeff. I'm sure you were just searching on Facebook and saw a property. I pulled these other ones for you too. Take a look. Let me know what you think. I'm happy to go take a look for them if you want. And it's similar homes. Right? But
right.
And this is another $10 tip, but if you do a search on your website, no matter what site it is, doesn't matter. You could search for price minimum is 500K, beds are 2, right? Anything you want. And you see the listings, you grab this email or you grab this URL, you can paste this and post this anywhere. And now you've got an ad, right? So,
yeah, my real geeks integrates into the back end of the HomeBot, so I've already tied folks into that. So yeah, that works really well.
Yeah, so see, that's where you can just go down this rabbit hole of more, and you got to just realize, okay, what works, and as soon as it works and I get an ROI, I'm good. I'm only going to do this until I get a 4 to 5 times ROI, and then I'm like, I'm not spending my time developing more stuff for just to get the same ROI, right? Like, the purpose is to get leads and get conversations and appointments and conversions. And then once you're hitting that, do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, I actually just learned what you can paste behind that link to make them not have to fill out all their information again.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, because they were a lead coming in and they already filled out all their information, and then Ylopo was asking them for it again, and I was like, oh, so.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Once they're in here and they're already in Ylopo, like you do an auto import,
Mm-hmm.
then you're good.
Yeah.
So lots to think about, lots to do. But again, when you think about the simple piece of automating a CMA and automating a homebot, and a lot of people call the homebot a CMA. This is now back and it's looking pretty good.
Awesome.
Is that helpful?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff,
Question? Yep.
can you do the same thing with Z buyer leads?
Yes. You can do the same thing with any seller lead source. You know, anything that's got a address, you know, really for homebot, it's buyer too.
And is there an option for me to input them myself into your system, or do they have to come in?
No, you could input them yourself. If you're referring to the sign up, you're just going to opt for the homebot and cloud CMA independent system.
Cool.
Yeah, and that right now is just for FUB users, and again, like Chime and Sierra are probably Monday, Tuesday next week, and we'll get everybody rolling that way. So, but I'm happy to help. Like I said, just ping me, reach out.
So how do we get in touch for like an appointment or whatever?
Yeah.
Any of our website stuff, right? If you go to any of our websites, and we could post a link here too. It's just Osiris, and then it's .co/schedule. And that schedule link has got a couple options. So if you want to, schedule anything out, you're welcome to. Okay. And once you go to the StreetText page, then you'll get the deal and make sure that's all taken care of.
I know the washer is broken down as well.
Oh God, you told me that.
Let's see. Let me think about what else I was going to mention there. But yeah, hopefully that will be helpful for you guys to get in there. But if you guys are looking at other things or other systems, please, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to be a resource inside the community. For sure. Cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jeff. I think there's definitely quite a bit of interest in how that's all set up, and you've done a great job of making it super easy. So that's awesome. So here's kind of a chance. Any more Q&A? Yeah, I know Rich got a question. Keep asking.
One more question. Send out cards. Can you link to that as well, or?
Yeah, that's a custom one right now. So you just get on the calendar, and we can kind of set up some of those.
Okay.
Right?
Cool.
But yep.
Thank you.
Yep. So yeah, just for FUB, and then next week we're getting all those as CRM set up. And I'll keep everybody posted. But...
Awesome. Any more questions? It's your chance.
Yeah, just real quick. So if we're KV Core, how should we wait for a while to schedule a call?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't wait a while. I would wait maybe less than a week, right? Like I've already got it all pretty well put together. I just gotta finalize it. And so what I would do is schedule a call with me, and that way you're on the calendar for next week or the following. And then we can, by then, we'll be able to get it all set up in there for you.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
I have a quick question.
Of course.
If your CRM is not part of the ones that you already have, how does this work?
It's just not. I mean, unless we develop it at some point, we unfortunately just can't. Well, you can't use our stuff, but. I mean, I could show you a little bit maybe what you could do, but you're kind of on your own developing that, unfortunately.
Okay.
Which CRM are you working out of?
Engage More?
Yeah, I've not heard of that one. There's a couple that I've heard that people have requested that I'm like, okay, I'll probably put that on the radar. And I'll go check it out and see how easy that is to work with. And if it is, then we can maybe bolt that on pretty quick.
Okay, great.
And is that a month-to-month program, or is it a year or 6 months, 3 months? What's the sign-up period requirement?
You know, right now for StreetText guys, I'm just saying it's month to month. So you don't, there's no commitment. I'm not gonna stick anybody for a commitment. We want to make sure it's good for you and you're getting conversions out of it. Right. So.
Hey, Jeff, you said you have, you use Brivity for your own team, and Brivity has their own CMA. So do we need to get the cloud CMA?
It's up to you. You know, I've not used the Brivity CMA. So, you know, you might look at that and compare, but if it's sufficient, you know, again, like you look at the CMAs and you go, the goal of the CMA is to get me a conversation, not to give a good value.
Right.
Estimates are purposely wrong so that a consumer has to reach out. Right. And
Right.
so that's the whole goal is, you know, just when you're comparing what's more attractive from a consumer's perspective and see if, what would you click? What would you respond to? And go from there.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep. All right. What else?
Yeah, or feel free to share which part you loved most about what Jeff can do. You can put it in the chat or put it out. Cool. So everybody's got the link. So I'll post it again here as well. So if you have any more information, I mean, Jeff's in the insider group as well. So, you know, I'm sure as he adds other integrations and things, he can kind of make that announcement and kind of put it in there. Obviously, for everyone on the call, you know, wherever you can add a little bit more efficiency to your system, it's always a huge win. So yeah, so just reach out to Jeff, use that link. Anything else? Any other final thoughts, questions?
Hopefully that's helpful for you guys. If you have any other ideas, any other feedback, I'm all ears, man. I mean, I started this company to help people get with conversions. So, you know, automations and get things going for you. So if you've got any other ideas, feel free to let me know and I'm happy to help.
Awesome. Well, big thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you being on this call today and sharing all of that. And we can keep the conversation going on the insider group. If you got anything else, Jeff is there and we'll take it from there. So thanks again, everybody. I know your time is valuable. So when you're on this call, I appreciate it. Hope you got some great takeaways for something you can implement today.
Cool.
Thanks, Jeff.
See ya.